Very good morning, students. So let us coming to the next one. See, today's class, previously we finished about a Newton's laws, actually we started. So now let us will see in this class about a Newton's laws of motion. So in this Newton's laws of motion, actually there are three laws are there. And here one is the Newton's first law, one is the Newton's second law, and one more is the Newton's third law. So let us tell you about a Newton's first law. See, in this Newton's first law is a very simple definition. I'll tell you. Suppose here if the body is at a rest, the body will be at rest only. Very simple statement here. Suppose the body is at rest it is. See, when it is at rest, say it is to be continuously be at rest only. Suppose you take another example. If the body is moving with uniform velocity, say it is in a uniform velocity only. Sir, unless, suppose I am telling if it is at rest, it is to be at rest only continuous. And suppose you say the body is said to be in a motion. Yes, it is to be in a continuously in a uniform motion only. Sir, unless, remember, unless something to be act. Suppose I am at rest. Sir, till what time you will be at rest? Yes, this is the question. If I am at rest, unless something to be act on me. Something to be act on me is nothing but a what? It is something is nothing but we can say there is some physical quantity to be act. The physical quantity which related to, we can say here the force is to be act on the body. Here also if the motion it is moving, something force is to be applied. Suppose the vehicle is moving or the car is moving with uniform speed. It is moving unless the brakes are applied. With same speed it is moving. Suppose if there is some brakes are applied, yes, the braking force we can say. The quantity which we can call as the force. When there is a physical quantity, force is acting on the body. Till that the body it is to be at rest, or till that the body it is to be in a uniform motion, unless external force act on a body. You are saying now it is external force act on a body. When there is an external force is act, therefore the rest is it is to be converted into motion. Suppose the motion is converted into, it may be speed is changes. See, this is the Newton's first law. Newton's first law in the sense is very simple here. Newton's first law in the sense is, see, here when the body is at rest, continues to be at rest only, or the body it is to be in a uniform motion unless external force acts on a body. Till that the body it is to be at rest, and till that the body it is to be in a uniform motion. So this we can call as the Newton's first law. It is, we can say, Newton's first law. And here in this Newton's first law, actually it explains about a inertia, because inertia in the sense is just in the previous class we finished. Here it is the resistance to change. That's what, if a body it is to be at rest, unless itself it is changes, that is what we can say inertia. So it is explains about inertia. Already we finished about inertia. And here it is also explains about a force. See, the force is nothing but you remember here Newton's first law, in the Newton's first law it is explains about a inertia, as well as also it is explains about a force. Sir, what is mean by force? You remember, force is nothing but it is a vector quantity. First of all, it is a vector. This is very, very important. And here force in the senses, it is a physical quantity which changes or tends to change the position or motion of a body. Force is a physical quantity which changes or tends to change the position or state of motion, which we can call as the force. It is a one physical quantity. Yes, we know the dimensional formula for this also, ml t power minus 2. And coming to the units, we can say Newton in MKS or in SI system, and here we can say dyne in CGS system. Yes, there is a 1 Newton is equal to 10 power 5 dynes. Already we finished in the first chapter it is. So this is related to the force. So this explanation related, it is comes in Newton's first law. So the Newton's first law, he explained about a force as well as he explained about a inertia also. So this is what related, it is related to the Newton's first law. Is it clear? Now let us will move to the in this Newton's first law. After this, I want to tell you one thing. In case of Newton's laws of motion, see, we should know about a linear momentum. So which are very, very important here. Linear momentum. See, I'll tell you linear momentum. Linear momentum. Sir, what is mean by linear momentum? That is P. See, here the linear momentum, again you write it is a vector. It is a vector. And second you say, actually we know about a linear momentum. I'll tell you linear momentum is nothing but it is a product of mass of the body and its velocity. Very simple. See, it is the product of mass and its velocity. That's what we can say. So P is equal to mass into velocity. So you say, in general we can say m into v. This is about a I mean to say linear momentum. So the linear momentum is nothing but it is a product of mass of the body and its velocity. So based on this, yes, we can say dimensional formula also DMF. See, already we finished, then also no problem, ml t power minus 1. And here it's units. Unit is in CGS system. That is, here you write gram, centimeter per second, and MKS. That is, we can say kg, meter per second. See, it is about a linear momentum. So the linear momentum is nothing but it is a product of mass of the body and its velocity in the senses we can call as the linear momentum. I'll tell you another one here. Change in momentum. You say change in momentum. So that it is, we can say delta P. See, you remember changes. One thing I'll tell you, it is actually basic, we can say change. We can indicate a delta or we can also indicate a D. Change is always, you say final minus initial. So the whatever the change you remember, final minus initial it is. Suppose I want to tell you change in momentum. So that delta P, final momentum minus initial momentum. Suppose here the thing is, let you take one body of mass is m, which is moving with initial velocity u. Therefore, after that, the body it is attains a final velocity v. So here you write here, there is a body of mass is m, and there is a moving with velocity is u, and it is final undercomes a velocity is v. Final velocity becomes v. Therefore, in this initial momentum will be Pi is equal to, you say, mu, and P final is equal to, you say, it is mv, or else you want to say P2 and this is, you say, P1. There will be a change in momentum. So that you say delta P is equal to P2 minus P1. That's what final minus initial. Change is always, we can say, final minus initial only. So that the delta P is equal to P2 minus P1. So delta P is equal to, what is P2 here? mv minus mu. Then delta P is equal to m of v minus u. This will be the change in momentum. It is a change in momentum in case of a body moving with velocity u, initially moving with velocity u. For this initial momentum is, you say, mu, and after a time the body it is attains a final velocity is v, then the final momentum will be mv. There is a change will be final minus initial. So delta P it is P2 minus P1. So that we can say mv minus mu. This is the change in momentum. And here we have the change in momentum in different cases. Sir, what are the different cases are there? I'll tell you change in momentum in different cases. First case, you remember, suppose you take one ball. So the ball is it is thrown towards a wall. The ball is moving with velocity. With a velocity you say v or u. See, in case of a change in momentum in different cases. Here you write change in momentum. In momentum, different cases. There are some different cases are there. First case I'll tell you. Suppose you take one example. There is one wall, right? So it is, you say, normal. Suppose if the ball of mass is m, which is moving with velocity u, or you say v, say along a normal, and when it is strikes the wall, and after strikes the ball is it is dead. You said dead. It is dead in the sense is it is dropped. Dead in the sense is directly it is dropped, or we can set it. So that there is a change in momentum. Let I want to tell you change in momentum. So initial momentum will be, you say, mv or mu, because it is moving with velocity u or v. And when it strikes the wall, at its wall, the final momentum becomes zero, because it is dropped dead in the sense is the velocity becomes zero. Dropped dead, if when it is strikes like this and it is dropped like this, it's not rebounding. If it is rebounding, it is a different. So when it is strikes and it is dropped dead like this, so that we can call as a dead is, in the sense is you say there is to be final momentum is zero. Therefore change will be, you say delta p is equal to p2 minus p1, and it is moving along the x-axis, along a positive x, so that it is represented as a I cap. So here you write p2 is equal to here 0, and here delta p is equal to p2 minus p1. No, p2 is equal to 0, and p1 will be mu I cap, or you want to write a mv I cap also, no problem. So delta p is equal to minus mu I cap. Then you take a magnitude, because we should always calculate a magnitude, root over minus mu whole square, right? So that delta p will be mu it is. When it is dropped dead, here the thing is when it is dropped dead. And coming to the next one, you go for the next case. I'll show you in this change in momentum again. There will be like this. So same situation, you take clear, and it is a normal, clear. And when the ball of mass is m, which is moving with velocity u, or you say v, and it is strikes the ball, and rebounds with same velocity. Very simple. So the ball of mass m, which is moving with velocity u or v, and it is strikes the ball, and it is rebounds with same velocity. Again, in this situation also there is a change in momentum we have to write, and it is p2 is equal to also say mv, because it is rebounding with same velocity. See here also this is a ball, and the ball is strikes, you say ball here also you want to write here ball it is, and strikes the wall, and which rebounds, and it is rebounding back with same velocity. So there will be a change, delta p is equal to p2 minus p1. There will be a change in momentum, p2 minus p1. So that the p2 minus p1 in the sense is, here you write here, actually first of all it is moving along a positive x. So for that positive x, it is we can take as a I cap. And when it is rebounding with the same velocity, which we can take as a minus I cap, because negative x-axis it is. So that the change in momentum will be p2 is equal to, you say, minus mv I cap, minus mv I cap only. Because both the situations, look at here, mv only, no, magar one it is moving at positive x-axis, and other is rebounding with same velocity, but it is in opposite. So that there will be a change in momentum will be magnitude if I take, therefore mv whole square plus mv whole square. So we'll get delta p is equal to, in this case it is mv, no. So you write here root over 2mv whole square, fine. So that we'll get the ultimately it is 2mv. This is the second situation. See, I want to tell you third situation also. When the ball is strikes, here the ball is strikes again, third case it is, you say case number 3, when it is strikes like this, when it is normal it is, you say, and here the wall, suppose the ball is, it is projected like this, or the ball is strikes like this way, mass of the ball is m, which is moving with velocity u or v, your wish, anything you take, therefore the momentum, initial momentum will be mu. When it is strikes the wall at an angle theta with the normal, so the momentum of the body making an angle theta with the normal, and it is rebounds with same momentum, you say, rebounds with same momentum, and which making an angle also same, and the momentum is nothing but actually vector. Therefore this p can be resolved into two components. One is along a normal, it is a p, I mean to say mu cos theta, and again this by using this there will be a mu sin theta like this. And coming to the next one, again this rebounding with same momentum, no? Again using this, again it is resolved into two components. One you say mu cos theta and one more you say mu sin theta. Of course this equal and opposite will be cancelled, not required it is. So let us is asking change in momentum, find a change in momentum along the normal is asking. There will be a change in momentum will be delta p along the normal. See, find a change in momentum along the normal. You say find a change in momentum, that is delta p along the normal. Along the normal. So delta p is equal to, again here we can say here same along the normal, no? Both mu cos theta and mu cos theta are acting along the same direction. Actually change in momentum in the sense is we can say p2 minus p1, but here directly you write here there is a change in momentum along the normal will be mu cos theta and mu cos theta, which are along the direction of negative x-axis. So we can take like this minus mu cos theta I cap and minus mu cos theta again I cap, because both are in the same direction. So that the final will be, we can take like this, delta p is equal to here minus 2 mu cos theta I cap. Suppose you want to say about a magnitude, then we can say 2 mu cos theta whole square. Therefore delta p is equal to 2 mu cos theta. Like this we have different cases in case of a change in momentum. In case of a change in momentum, like this we have the different cases. It is the first case when ball strikes the wall along the normal, when it is dropped dead. Dead in the sense is you say final momentum 0. And second case when the ball is strikes the normal and it is rebounces with same velocity along the normal. And when the ball is strikes at an angle theta with the normal. At an angle theta with the normal. So again it is rebounces with the same momentum, with the same angle, with the same momentum and with the same angle. So that in this case the change in momentum will be, it is a delta p is equal to 2 mu cos theta. And here I want to tell you another case, in that only again I will give you the change in momentum in the different cases. Look at here, suppose again you take, say normally it is a wall like this and there will be a normal, it is right, it is you say normal. Therefore when ball is strikes like this, ball of mass is m, which is moving with velocity v u, and there it is to be it is making an angle theta with the wall, and it is rebounces with same angle, which is angle theta with the wall, so that the ball of mass is m, which is rebounding with same velocity. Again by using this, again you write here a change in momentum will be like this, it is a p2 is equal to, or you say mu only it is. So now mu can be resolved into two components. One we can say mu cos theta, and here along this mu sin theta it is, and here by using this mu cos theta, and here mu sin theta. By using this component, this can be resolved into like this. And again find a change in momentum along the normal. Yes, very simple. You take along a normal again, along normal, that is change in momentum will be delta p is equal to, both are in the opposite direction. You say mu sin theta, it is minus I cap right, and again plus mu sin theta minus I cap. So that delta p will be minus 2 mu sin theta I cap. So suppose you take a momentum like this, root over minus 2 mu sin theta whole square. So magnitude will be, it is 2 mu sin theta. So these are the change in momentums in different cases. Change in momentum in different cases, it is related to the change in momentum. Again we have other cases also is there in this different cases in change in momentum. So we'll see in the next class, and thank you very much. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.